Let's talk about the single best Facebook ad audiences you should be using if you're a coach and you want to find more clients who have money and want to work with you. All right, so here's the problem that most coaches have. When they're trying to figure out their audience structure and which one's best and all that kind of stuff, they tend to not know what to do. So what they do is they let Facebook run their audiences and figure all this stuff out with the current AI strategies. And here's what you got to realize. Facebook's job is to send you cheap clicks. That often collides with your job to get qualified clients. Now, one of the pieces of this strategy, there are a number of different pieces, but one of them is getting the right audience. And so what I want to do is I want to explain to you what you need to do. First thing I'm going to do before I get into the 3 steps, third one is the coolest, is you need to understand that your audience size should not be more than 2, sometimes 3 million maximum. Ideally, if your budget's $10 to $30 a day, you should have an audience of around 1 million to 1.5 million people. I see coaches ad accounts all the time, almost weekly, that I'm looking at, who I'm talking to, and who I'm helping or are interested in getting our help. And they're running ads with audiences of 60 million, 80 million, 100 million. You got to understand, that's just not going to work. Okay. That's like getting in a canoe in the, Pacific, Atlantic, whatever ocean. You pick the ocean and going out there with like your fishing rod to try and find some fish. You don't have the budget. You're not going to find your people. You don't have a big enough daily budget for Facebook to optimize and lock in. It's going to be a disaster. Or they'll latch on to the wrong people and you just get a whole bunch of broke people. And then you'll wonder why, right? It's because of that. So that's kind of the premises that we're going with here. Now, what is the single best audience that brings in the best coaching clients? Now, if you are it depends on your budget and how much assets you have in terms, not money assets, but in terms of assets within your business. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second here. So the first one is interest groups. Okay. So what is the best Facebook ad audience if you're using interest groups? Here's the crazy thing. Interest group targeting. So that's like typing in followers of Tony Robbins or people interested in weight loss and stuff like that. What we've found is that you want to do 2 layers. 2 layers seem to work the best. What that means is people, if you're a life coach, or let's say, for example, you can layer authors, different authors, and then the second layer could be income targeting. People top 5%, top 10%, you can go all the way up to top 50%. We found that works really good there. So, you want followers of John C. Maxwell or whatever, right? So you want to layer that. Now, that's interest group targeting. We found 2 layers works best, okay? What we haven't found works great with interest targeting anymore is just straight up job titles, like plumbers or dentists or something like that. That can work, but we like to expand it to give the AI more room to move, because your audience can't be too small either. The sweet spot, if you're around 20-ish, 10 to 20-ish, $10 to $30 a day in ad spend, is going to be around that $1 million to $2 million, ideally. Okay. Now, the second type of audience is for coaches who have some assets. So if you've got an email list of followers around 300 or more, what the next audience you want to try is interest groups. Why? Because lookalikes, because interest group targeting is going away. Yes, you heard that right. They are phasing out interest groups. Up until, as of this recording, is 2025. But in 2019, we could find every kind of interest group, every author, every expert, and it was working amazing. Okay. Over time, they're slowly removing interest groups. So, for example, there's no more interest groups around Tony Robbins and stuff like that. Like, they're pulling out a lot of interest groups because they're replacing it with artificial intelligence targeting. All right. Now, if you're like, oh my gosh, what do? I don't have an email list. I'll talk about that in a second. The second type of audience that you need to use is what we call lookalikes. So you're gonna use an audience of, let's say you got 300, 400, 500, 1,000 people on your email list of subscribers who you found over the years. People have signed up for your newsletter and stuff like that. You can actually upload that to Facebook, and they'll turn it into 2.2 million person audience who looks like those people. So that works really well. We've had a lot of success with that. Like, for example, one audience that we could use is, for example, we have about 1,600 people in our Skool community. So we can use that as an audience, and Facebook goes and finds 1,600 people who look like it. Here's the problem with lookalike audiences. It's all about how good Facebook is at matching. My lookalike audiences of our Skool community has not worked. Yeah, I'm using it as an example of something to give you a frame of reference. It has not worked. Do you know what one of our best audiences right now is? A lookalike of people who have booked calls with us in like 2022. Yeah, believe it or not. So it all depends on the match rate. So ideally, you're going to want to give them different audiences to try. Lookalike of clients, look like people bought your cheap stuff, look like people registered for your webinar, all that kind of stuff. And Facebook will create these, and they'll go out and find millions of people who look like your people, and those are great audiences too. Now, before I move on to the third audience, which is crazy why it works, is I want to tell you to do two things. First of all, hit the subscribe button on somewhere up here, and so that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're always updating it. We're always creating new content for you based on what we're seeing is working in the coaching space to get more coaching clients who obviously are qualified and have money. It's obviously the goal, but you're going to miss the videos unless you hit the subscribe button. The second thing I need you to do is I need you below this video, click in the description or the pinned comment section, the link to book your free Skool success call. Okay, we offer a free 15-minute call to all of our members in our free Skool community to help you figure this stuff out. There's nothing for sale on that call. Don't bring your credit card. Okay, and so we just had somebody post in our group, it was the best free call she's ever had, because it is, and it's going to be. And what we're going to do is help you sort out these audience structures, give you feedback, what's working now as it relates to you, because here's the problem. If you're a newer coach, or if you're an established coach and you haven't used Facebook ads and you don't have a lot of assets like email lists and customer lists and subscriber, all that kind of stuff, there's ways you can do it. And we want to explain those ways in a little more detail. We're going to look at what you're wanting to do, look at what you've been doing, figure out what's been working, what's not been working, give you some strategies on what to do. We do a ton of these calls. We're extremely good at it. Or you can just binge watch YouTube videos all day and get no personal help. All right. This is a free call because you're in our free Skool community. I want to give that to you as a gift so that we can help you, give you some ideas, strategies, look at what you're doing, give you some feedback on what you can do, what you should do, maybe some changes you should make, and then send you on your way. Okay. Plus, we're going to give you 2 free bonus trainings and unlock them in our Skool community that are normally reserved for clients. Now, what is the third audience? The third audience is called open targeting. This is crazy. What we do is we have campaigns regularly that we run that literally are only targeting age and country. That's it. Okay. And maybe gender if you want. And we have a number of clients who use this. We've had have a client who she's targeting women trying to find love again. 0 targeting. Okay. Just age and gender. Boom. That's it. And so those audiences can work extremely well. Why do they work? They work because the pixel data. If your pixel, that's your AI code, has tons of webinar registrations already, it can literally go into all of Facebook and boom, find your ideal clients. Sometimes it can be the absolute best audience. 0 targeting because Facebook you move their constraints so they can find your people. Now, this is not what you want to do when you start out. If you're starting out, you want to use interest groups or lookalike audiences. Now, if you're here and you're like, oh my God, but interest groups are going away and what do we do? Oh, they are. And they have been for a few years. So it's not like it's just happening now, but interest groups are slowly going away. So the most important thing is your ad, okay? Because your ad gets read by Facebook and then they start to tell what part of your audience should they go into. And then as qualified people click on it, Facebook creates this feedback loop to send your ad to more qualified people. Now that's beyond the scope of this video here, but what I need you to do, book that call. We're going to talk to you about what to do if you're new, what to do if you can't find your audience. We've never actually seen a coach who's not been able to find its audience, so you don't have to worry. But these are the structures you need to do, and you need to be careful. A lot of these done-for-you agencies out there or coaches who set stuff up for people, they try and rely on Facebook's artificial intelligence for the Audience Plus, Advantage Plus stuff to let Facebook override a lot of the targeting. And they set up these big structures and huge audiences and like 50 million people. Do not do that, okay? You do not ever do that. That is dangerous because you're just basically letting Facebook have free reign of all your credit card, your everything, okay? Facebook doesn't know you need coaching clients. And so we have to tighten everything up, override probably 95% of the settings in order to get the qualified people versus just anybody. So you need to remember that. If you're having a Facebook ad account that you're like, why is it not working? That's probably why. So book a call. We'll look at it. We'll give you some feedback, what to change, what to do. And if you just don't want to go down those wrong roads, book that call below and we'll talk to you, help you out. Nothing to buy, just there to help you. All right. These are the biggest things you need to know as it relates to audiences on Facebook in 2025 with all this AI stuff going along. We've been successful with all three audiences and, sometimes we use one, sometimes we use the other. It really all depends, but that's what you need to know. All right, click that link, book that call, and we'll see you on the call.